mining text data, or we simply call the text mining. So you can see here the text data. You can see here your World Wide Web is also comprised of the different structured and unstructured data. So our focus is here mining the retrieval of the information from the text. So mining text data, you can see here. Let's have the brief introduction about this, then we'll go ahead. So text mining is an interdisciplinary field that draws information retrieval, that is IR, is a very important field of this mining. So Telugu, Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, Japanese, and any other language. So these languages are nothing but these languages are the natural language. So over that we can do the processing, that is comes under the NLP, natural language processing. So a substantial portion of the information is stored as text, such as news articles, technical papers, books, digital libraries, email messages, blogs, and web pages. So here, whatever the name I have quoted here, so here the information is generally stored in the text format. So entire data, around 90% of the data is in the text format, and they are in a unstructured format. Okay, so it is a great challenge also to extract the information from these textual materials. So nowadays most of the information is in the government also, industry, business, other institutions are stored electronically. So digitalization is happening. So documents whatever is being produced, they are kept in the digital formats, in the text format. So if you want to extract important information from that digital electronics textual format data, so you need from the text databases, you need the efficient and prudent technique, so that you can extract the important data. So data stored in most text databases are semi-structured. Semi-structured means neither completely structured like tabular format, or completely in unstructured. So they are in the middle like XML. So in that they are neither completely structured or completely structured. So you can see here a document may contain a few structured fields. Structured field means in the tabular format structure, some fixed structure is there, rows and columns, and we are putting the data in that. Okay, row wise we are putting certain attributes, we have column set, and the data is going in that particularly defined attributes. So what is happening? If title is there, the title will go to the title column, author, publication date, so many things. So it is we can store in a structured format. But there are some components also. They are also kept in a unstructured form, like the abstract, okay, or content. In research paper also you have seen in research paper in the beginning we are having the author title, the author informations, his affiliation, so many things we have that may be the in a structured format. But if you go beyond that, now what is happening, the abstract part, content part, okay, they are in a unstructured textual format, it is written. So that is very difficult to extract the information from those locations. Okay, so IR techniques, information retrieval techniques are there, such as text indexing methods we will use. Okay, have been developed to handle the unstructured documents. Unstructured documents means you take any book, and in the book any page, whatever how many pages are there, the whole information that is written in the form, that is unstructured kind of thing. Even though we have the headings, but it is not very easy to extract the information from those locations. So information retrieval is a field that has been developed in parallel with the database system itself. Okay, so in database management system like DBMS we have, in this also we store the data in a structured format, or we can say we store the data into the tabular format. So in the tabular format we store here data for retrieving the information from the DBMS database management systems in a structured format. So what we can do, we have the structured query languages. Okay, so they are working with these database management systems. We are able to extract the structured information, and think about the other things where the structured information is not there. So this in IR field is also okay. This also progressed in parallel with this database management systems. Okay. So it is IR is concerned with the organization and retrieval of the information from large number of text-based documents. Okay, text-based documents. Since the information retrieval and database systems each handle the different kinds of data, some database system problems are usually not present in the information. Okay, retrieval systems such as the concurrency control we maintain there, seed property we know. Okay, atomicity, consistency, isolation. Okay, so and the durability. So those properties, and whenever transaction is happening, we need to maintain this recovery. Okay, this concurrency we need to manage, update. So these things we need to consider in the case of the database management system, but these things we don't consider in this retrieval system, that is the IR. So if you define this one according to the Wikipedia, we found the definition of text mining as referred to, also it is called the data mining or text data mining. Okay, interchangeably we use, roughly equivalent to the text analytics, like we have the big data analytics na. So same way, it is the process, you can see here, it is the process of deriving high quality information from the text. So you need to see here, our focus is here text. Okay, so if you ask what is the difference between the data mining, okay, and then what is the difference between the text mining, obvious the questions will come. So whatever technique generally we have discussed up to now, before this structured or complex data types, the databases, the data warehouses, the data they were storing, they were somewhat, they were completely, they were in structured format, but here we have only the text format data. So there are some challenges in text mining, so that we will know one by one. So what is the problem? Information is unstructured textual format. So almost 80 to 90% the data present, complete data in the world which is present, they are unstructured and they are in the textual formats. Okay, so this is a very big challenge for us to develop such a system so that we can get the information from the textual format of data. So large textual database is there. Almost all publications are also in electronic forms. Say for example, you are publishing some book or some in the office, some documents are being generated. Say for example, some government order is there. So many cases are there in the government offices. So what is this? And regularly they are also updating in their websites also. Okay, so almost all publications, research publication, vast size of the journal publications you can get. Okay, let's Elsewhere you can get IEEE transactions, so many Nature publications, and so many news magazines are there. Every places you can get this in the electronic form of the. Now this time coronavirus is not running, so this time the papers they are promoting in an electronic form also, although it was there, but this time electronic form of this the electronic form of the newspapers are also getting very popular. So very high number of possible dimensions is there, but sparse. Dimensions means number of attributes is very high there in a different dimensions. We talk about the dimensions. This is only 3 dimensions. All possible words and phrases types in the language. Okay, whatever we write, then language, any language that we use for communication, complex and okay subtle relationship between the concepts in the text, very complex and very it is granular level. So suppose you can see here AOL merges with Time Warner, so the merging is happened, and this sentence, see this sentence also, Tim Warner is bought by the AOL. So this type of complex sentence you will get, okay, whether they are referring to the same meaning or different. Word ambiguity and context sensitivity is there. So mute yourself from your side. Is there any problem? You mute, everybody please mute yourself to avoid the disturbance. So word ambiguity and context sensitivity, you can look here. So word ambiguity and context sensitivity you can understand here. Suppose we are having the automobile. So automobile specifically we can say it is a car, vehicle, or the specific name Toyota. And you can say here this Apple word. Okay, in the different context their meaning, their semantics is different. So the Apple is name of the company also, and as well it is a name, it is a fruit. So it depends upon the context. This type of things is there in the text document, then how you will identify this Apple word is referring to the company or it is for some fruit. Okay, one more thing is there, noise, unnecessary, unwanted data is also will be there. Okay, that are not relevant. Okay, some problem is also there, like spelling mistakes are also there. If spelling mistake is there, then the problem will come how to identify, because in the in case of misspelled typo errors, so your system will not be able to identify is it referring to what meaning, what semantics. So need to be correct. That need to be corrected. Okay. Okay. Like here you can see here in data mining you can put the, let's say here we have put the query based on the query in search query, and we have searched the in the search engine query. You are getting the different answers. You are getting the different answers. This is also kind of text. We are searching the different text over the internet, over the world. So behind that text mining is done. So semi-structured data. So let's understand what is the semi-structured data. So text databases are in general in semi-structured formats. For example, if you talk about this some article or anything, so you have the title, author name, publication date, length or category, okay, number of pages, whatever is there. So this is structured. You will put in the author place the name, in these attributes you will put the information. But if you talk about the abstract and content or main body content, whatever you are writing, so it is a textual format that is unstructured. So combinedly we can say it is a unstructured, it is a semi-structured, semi-structured data. Okay, so this is the semi-structured data. Okay, next, like we have seen the KDD process now in knowledge discovery. Same pattern, this diagram you can also visualize. In the text mining, what are the different intermediate processes that is followed to complete the mining process? So first one, as we know, before that what we will get the text data. That will be the collection of data or aggregation of data. Whatever, you will collect the data. After collection you will do the text pre-processing. You will do the text pre-processing. In text pre-processing, what you will do, actually it is a very detailed discussion we will do later, but you can see here syntactic, semantic and text analysis in the beginning we will do, and some intermediate steps are there like tokenizations and everything we'll see in the later slides. So you can see here text pre-processing. We have next features generations. In that we have the bag of words. We generate the different, we extract the different bag of words. We make the collections of those words. So feature selection is there, simple counting, statistics we will do. Next one is the text data mining. Here what you will do, you will do the clustering, you will do the classification, association, rule mining. So many things you will perform here in this part. Okay, next one is the then analyzing the results. So these are the few steps that we follow in the text mining process. We'll see how it is done, and you can see is this KDD knowledge discovery from the data na, it is similar to that diagram. Just some few changes are made here, otherwise everything is same as it is, and this is tuned to this text mining process. So let's see search versus discover. We search the information, we discover the information. So searching refers to, it is a goal oriented. You can see here we do the data retrieval in a structured format. If it is a unstructured data, text data is there, then we call it as it becomes the information retrieval in the search itself. But if you see here in discover part, discovery means it is opportunistic means it is there but it is not visible to, so that hidden things we found. So you can see if it is a structure, then you will do the data mining. I have the data source that you are doing the discovery of these things, so it will be treated as a text mining. So this is the simple difference between the searching versus the discovery. So whatever in the internet websites you are doing, you are searching there, you are not discovering there. Okay, so because you are having, and in that you are doing the information retrieval, you are retrieving the information. So this is also, information retrieval is also very vast field. A lot of research is happening in this information retrieval. Okay, as well in the text mining as well. So I hope this is clear now. So next one is the structuring the textual information. Okay, so in the background, whatever the information is there, whether it is unstructured format, but if you want to do this mining work, okay, so finally you have to make some arrangement in the data, then you will be able to do that. So what you will do, first we will structure the information. So this will come into the pre-processing part. Many methods, okay, designed to analyze the structured data. Okay, what benefit we'll get if we can represent documents by a set of attributes. Okay, we'll be able to use the existing data mining methods. If we have the predefined attributes, say for example employee data is there. Okay, so for employee it will be having its name, its employee code, department where salary, okay, data of joining, so many things in a column in this fashion. And then for different instances we can create the record for the different employees. Okay, under these columns. So here we can see here, if we are able to convert this textual information into this structured format, then the existing data mining technique that we are already having cluster classification, okay, we can apply these data mining techniques to do these things. Okay, so how you will do, you can create the term frequency, document frequency, term proximity, okay, document length, these parameters you can use for making the documents structured. Okay, so how to represent a document? In the document, how you can do, so you can represent the vector based representations. Okay, so represent as a bag of words as it is invariant to the permutations. Next, use the statistics, some counting, mean, median, this type of statistical concepts you can use. Okay, to add a numerical dimension to the structured data, you can create one frequency table, you can create the frequency matrix in that. Okay, that will contain these informations. Okay, suppose the bag of words, different words are there. Okay, so vector based we'll see later again in the information retrieval by the similarity methods. We'll see this vector based representation once again. Okay, as of now we can go how to measure the text retrieval, means how the relevant information we are getting, how accurately we are able to extract the informations from the data, or whatever method we are applying, how much that is efficient. So these measures are used like classification, clustering, we have the some methods, and association rule mining to measure the quality of the data that we retrieved. So here also the same thing is here, we can get here. So suppose here you can look here, so you can look here, suppose that a text retrieval system has just retrieved a number of documents for me based on my input in the form of query. I given some query and some text mining or text retrieval system has given some answers to me. Okay, so how can we assess how accurate or correct the system was? So for that we have the some formula, using that we will retrieve that one. So for that we have some assumptions, we have some notations. So let the set of documents relevant to a query be denoted as relevant. Okay, so document which are relevant to a query we have denoted as relevant, and the set of documents retrieved be denoted as this retrieved. So two words we have, relevant and retrieved. So the set of documents that are both relevant and retrieved can be denoted as intersection of both relevant and the retrieved. So the two terms can be used for calculation of this precision and recall. So what precision refers actually? This is the percentage of, okay, this is the percentage of retrieved documents. Okay, how much percentage of documents you retrieved, okay, that are in fact relevant. Anyway you have retrieved in search engine, whatever we put the query to get the information, all the informations are not relevant, but we have retrieved many documents. So in that, how much the information we retrieved, they are relevant also, and we have retrieved to the query. Okay, so means correct responses you got. Relevance means that the answer that you received as per your search, answer, they are relevant to yourself, or they are correct for you. So it is formally defined as with the formula precision is equal to, okay, you can say here, relevant, the intersections of relevant and retrieve. So document which are relevant and retrieve, you will take the intersections part. So and you will divide by the retrieved, means how many documents you retrieve, in that how many relevant. Okay, suppose you are coming to the college, you are supposed to have 8 classes from morning to evening. Okay, so retrieval is 8 from your home. When you will go, we will get the we will attend the 8 classes. But what is happening, with some reasons only 5 classes happened. Okay, only 5. So relevant is only 5. 3 is irrelevant there that time. Okay, so like this. So relevant oblique or relevant intersections retrieved divided by the retrieved. So next one is the one more term is the recall. So this is the percentage of documents that are relevant to the query and were in fact retrieved. It is formally defined as the recall equal to relevant intersections retrieved and divided by relevant. So here you can see, here we have divided this the same term, this common term, by the retrieved, and we are dividing here by the relevant. Okay, so you will get the recall. So for recall you can understand, I have given that some name to remember. I have given like in your class you have the 66 student. Okay, 66 student you are having in class, and I said you remember everybody. So you remembered, you treat as yourself as a one learner. You learned, you have remembered all the names. Okay, so that are relevant. But what you did one time, if I say you remember, okay, all girls students or all boys students. So at the time of retrieval, when I asked to you, so how many you could answer correctly? Okay, all the relevant options was suppose out of 66 there was, okay, say for example suppose 30. Okay, 30 students was in your class, boys are there. Okay, and I said you remember all. After that what you are telling, you you recall these 30 persons, and after some time I said you name those all. So what you will do, you will possibly you may answer some of the you may leave some, not all 30, you can give 28 correctly, and you may, but you are not able to answer 2 persons more. Okay, so what is having relevant is I am having 30, but you could answer 28 only. So what is the problem? You could not, although it is belongs to that one, but you could not answer these two, and only 28 you could that recall. You could recall 28 out of 30. Okay, so like this we can understand this recall. Okay, so in recall, in precision, we focus on the this correctness. Okay, and here in the recall we focus on the coverage. Okay, this is here in the recall we focus on the coverage, how many answers you covered, query you covered. So how many you, it was 30, but you only covered only 28. So we are here focusing on the coverage, but where in the precision we are covering over the in the precision we are, our focus is the correct responses. Next one you can understand this with this is a Venn diagram of this relevant and retrieved documents, you can see here. So this is the section that is relevant. Okay, this is the section that is relevant and retrieved. Okay, so the whole thing, it is a relevant documents and retrieved documents out of all documents. Okay, the next basic measure for text retrieval is the method is the F score. Okay, sometimes we also call it is a F measure. So this F measure is also very important measure for measuring the text retrieval performance. So what is happening? if you want to combine the effect of both precision as well as the recall, okay, if you want to include the impact of precision and recall, so you will combine this by with the help of the taking the harmonic mean of the recall and precision. Okay, so this will be more robust measure for evaluation of the retrieval system. So an information retrieval system often needs to trade off, okay, trade off, balance, trade off recall or recall for the precision over okay, or vice versa. So whenever this case comes, you need to balance between these two. So what you will do, one commonly used trade-off is F score, because here if you are using this precision, you will focus on the correctness, you are not focusing on the coverage. If you want to focus on these 2 points, then you can go this common term, this common formula which is including these two things. So what is the formula? It is the harmonic of mean of recall and precision. So this is recall multiplied by precision divided by recall plus precision and again divided by 2. So this can be converted as, you can write 2 multiplied by recall, okay, into precision and divided by the recall and plus precision. So this is the formula you can use for measuring this F score, so that it will have the trade-off or balance between the precision and recall also. So you can see this is Venn diagram, you can understood how we can get these measurements. Okay, let's go ahead. Text retrieval methods. What are the text retrieval method? We will go one by one. So broadly speaking, retrieval methods fall into 2 categories only. Okay, so one is the retrieval methods falls under the document selection problem. Okay, this treat it as a document selection problem. You will select this the problem, whatever query we have kept, you will select out of the available data sets. Next one is the document ranking problem. So you can make the ranking of the documents, and we have seen that some ranking algorithms, the Google does the page rank algorithm for ranking the different documents of the web pages. So that whenever user searches over the search engines, so immediately it is served to the person. So in document selection method, the query is regarded as specifying constraints, okay, or for selecting the relevant documents. Okay, the relevant document will be selected, but specifying some constraint like we put in the SQL query. So a typical method of this category is the Boolean retrieval method. We'll see later in the detail this one also. So next one, okay, so what is next? A set of keywords and a set of keywords. So document is represented by a set of keywords and users provide a Boolean expressions of keywords. Boolean expressions means, okay, with a and or kind of things you use for that, like Ram and Shyam. So ending you are doing, or you are doing, so some kind of Boolean expressions keywords you are giving, such as the car and repair shops. You are asking some query from the Google search engine, you show me some car and repairing shops, where can I go and take my car repaired there. Tea or coffee, okay, or database systems, but not Oracle. So this type of expressions is nothing else, but it is the Boolean expressions of keywords that we put into the search part in the search options. Then we get the retrieve the documents. Okay, so they may be relevant, they may not, some of them they may be relevant, okay, and they may not be relevant. but you will get from this. So this is based on the selection. Here you will do the selections, and selection you can do based on the similarity or whatever method you use. So next one is the document. Okay, this one is the document ranking problem. So in document ranking, what we are doing, we are ranking the documents. Okay, we are ranking means priority wise we are ranking more number of accesses to particular pages, so it will get the high rank. So we can make the ranking. So document ranking methods use the query to rank all documents. So here you will use the query to rank all documents in order of relevance. In order of relevance. For ordinary users and exploratory queries, these methods are more appropriate. Okay, like any users, they are searching in the Google in search engine or any like Bing or Yahoo, they are searching. So, okay, so here what is happening, ranking is done for the documents. So it is far better than the document selection methods. So most modern information retrieval system, IR systems, present a ranked list of documents in the response to a user's keyword query. So you can see here the web page I shown here, whatever answer we are getting here, as per the ranking is already done by the search engines. Okay, so based on that ranking and these different documents, it will be shown to us when we will put this type of query. So based on the decreasing order of the ranking, the relevance, it will list the web pages, and web pages, the relevance means document data mining terms. They will look into the text whether relevant to your data mining these keywords, what are the documents they are having more relevance in their own in their documents. So based on this, the pages will be shown to you. Okay, so like this, the pages are arranged in a relevance order, and generally we go for the top or 2-3 pages or top 10 pages we go because they are more relevant to my query. And how the system is telling to you, because the search engine and this ranking is already done, so that it is showing to me, because many persons are searching the same thing, the same keywords they are using are somewhat similar. Next, you can see here the common intuition behind all these methods is that we may match keywords in a query with those in the documents that I already told, and score each document. Okay, score each documents on how well it matches the query. So like that. So it is like that we'll do. We have the suppose I kept data mining, the term I have taken. Okay, and we have the different pages in the web pages. We have the different websites or documents, they are having these terms. Millions of pages will be having the same thing. So what they will do the ranking. Suppose it has the relevance in percentage. If I say it is more relevant, 90% relevant to you, starting from the 100% or 90%, then it will go on 80% or 70% relevant to your query, 60%. So they will, what they will do, they will rank, they will show these documents as per these rankings. Okay, so this is done to show the relevance, and this data mining term, the system will, the IR system, whatever retrieval system is there, they will look into the documents. Okay, so there are different methods that is applied. Now it is not one single, it is an array of different methods that are used. Okay, so here the degree, the goal is to approximate degree of relevance of a document with a score computed based on the information such as the frequency of words. Okay, frequency of words in the document and the whole collection. So whatever suppose data mining term I have taken, and in the one some documents, how many times the data mining terms came in the particular documents. If the frequency is more, okay, then it will be more relevant to you, to your query. So based on that is one reason to do the ranking. So how to determine if two documents are similar or not? Okay, very good question. How, what are the different methods? How we can do this ranking? How we'll find that two documents are similar? So we have some methods, and one is the distance based matching, this method, and this is nothing different that it is the Euclidean distance between the two documents that we found. Okay, so we can found this based on your query. We can find the Euclidean distance between the two documents, or two documents are there. If you want to know how much they are similar, so we will do this. We will use this distance based methods, and we will found the similarity. Okay, so like dx, document x and document y. Okay, document x and document y. So we were discussing, now we are using the vector kind of things, na vector. So vector is, here we are having, see, x is nothing but it is the combination of different attributes. It is not one. Okay, x1, x2, x3, like x1, and y is y1, y2, y3. So we'll keep the corresponding distances x1, y1, like x2, y2. Okay, like that we'll keep that. So we have taken the differences and square root of that square, then we have taken the square root. So then we can get the similarity, the some numerical value we will get. With that we can find the distances for similarity, and we can decide whether how much similar to one another. So some properties you can know. If we say x and x, if you are taking the both similar documents, so they are 100% similar, means there is no dissimilarity. And this discussion we did in a very broad way in the clustering methods. Okay, in the k-means clustering we were doing this distance based Euclidean, Manhattan, and some other methods were there. We have used Minkowski methods we have used there. So one method Euclidean, just for example, so this can be treated x and y, two vectors are there, you can find the distance between two documents. It can be treated as a similarity measure. So next one is the how to determine if two documents are similar. We can find one more method we can use, angle based matching. Angle based matching method, and there is one very popular, it is a very popular for measuring the similarity between two documents. It is based on the vector concepts. So we found the angle. Okay, so we found the cosine of the angle between the vectors representing the document and a query. Representing a document and a query. So document in the same direction are closely related. Documents in the same direction, they are closely related. Okay, transforms the angular measure into a measure ranging from the 1 for the highest and similarity to 0 for the lowest. Okay, if we, because cos, the value of cos 0 means it will give the answer 1. Okay, so if you are seeing here, if how the angle, suppose two documents are same, so suppose this one is the query, you can treat anyone, but if I say A is your query and B is your document, so you can treat the angle between this one. Okay, suppose this one, okay, and this one, you can treat the angle between this one, how much angle is there, theta. Okay, you can find. So this theta will use in this cos cosine similarity formula to find the similarity between two documents. Okay, so your query will be whatever query like data mining query I put, so that query will also be treated as one document, and the document actually that you are watching, so these two uh, things will be taken, the angle between them it will be taken, and they will be kept here like cos 0 means they are completely similar, they are parallel to each other, one over other means same documents are there. If I take xx, okay, so it was 0, so 100% means completely similar. So how we can calculate this one? So we can calculate this one, cos x and y, vector x and vector y, then we'll take x dot y. After that what we'll do, we will take the uh, this one x mod of x we will create, and after that whatever the answer will give, it will come the value between 0 to 1, the value will come 0 to 1. So like this we will take the value 0 means mod will take the positive value only, so we can see the differences. So you can see here this is one method that we can use for measuring the similarity between the two documents. I hope you understood. See here we are not, if you, how many times you will draw this diagram and you will try to find the angle. So for that we have the formula here. So x and y is there. You can do this in the calculations. Suppose x is there, y is there. You can see here. So how you will get here? You are multiplying two. Okay, correspondingly you are multiplying and you will add, and for this what you will do, you will take the root of, you will square every one x and y also individually, and you will take the square root. So say for example you are having some values, we can understand with this some example. Suppose I am having x in that, okay, 2, okay, 3 and 4 I am having, and y I am having 1, 2 and 1. So what I will do, I will take x into y like this here, sigma x into y, then mod of x and mod of y will take here. So how I will create this value? So one is first one is the, I will take the 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square. So whatever value total will come, I will take the square root. The value will be calculated for x. For y also we can do this one, 1 square plus 2 square plus 1 square. So whatever value will come, I will add up and take the square of this one, and the corresponding value will be multiplied and added. So how you will do, you multiply with this one, so you will get the 2 ones are 2, and then you will add this one, then 3 2s are 2, 3 2s are 6, and plus 4 ones are 4. So like this you will calculate. So what you will get, 10, I think it will come 12 divided by whatever value you have achieved individually. So this will give some numerical value, and that value will be nothing but the similarity value. So this type of calculation you can do here in this cosine, and it is a very, we have different other methods also. Jacquard similarity methods are also there that can be used to measure the similarity or dissimilarity between two documents, but this is very famous cosine similarity. So those who have studied the vector algebra and this trigonometry, so now you can see here the application of cosine. Okay, so in this way, next step is the tokenizations. So we'll cover this one and we will end the session for today, and we'll continue to the next class. But before that, we will discuss here tokenizations. So what is the tokenization? Tokenization is nothing but it is a pre-processing part of the document retrieval systems. So so what you will do for representation of your documents, what you will do, first step in the most retrieval system, you have to identify the keywords for representing the documents. It is a processing step often called as the tokenizations mean each word you will identify in your documents. Okay, that is nothing but, and your sentence, whatever sentence is there in your document, they are composed of the different words. Okay, so sentences, they are logically, they have the logical sequence using some, they have the some, they are part of speech, they have the POS, using the POS part of speech, noun, pronoun, verb, adverb. Okay, preposition will be there. So these things we use for parsing kind of things. So next, to avoid the indexing useless words, or text retrieval system often associates a stop list. So there will be some stop list that you will identify because they have no contribution. Okay, they have no relevance in your information retrieval. So unnecessary keeping those terms, you remove those terms. But you will first you have to identify the stop list with a set of documents. So what are the stop list you can see in any sentence, and they are deemed to be irrelevant. So what are those? In your sentences, generally we keep the a, this article a and these different articles frequently comes in any documents, but they are helping in arranging the sentence. Okay, to make the semantics correct. But as for the retrieval systems, they have no importance in that. In some very specific cases they have, but as far as here it is not having. So we'll treat these words as a stop word. Okay, so these are the stop list we prepare. So like the, of, for, with, okay, and, okay, so on. Okay, are the stop words, even though they appear frequently in the data, through the text data. They will come frequently, but will not consider this one then at the time of making the dissimilarity or similarity of the document as per your query. So next one is the stem words. So these terms you need to understand completely. Without it, this text mining is not possible to understand. So these are the basic ABCD of your uh, text mining. So tokenization we did, we pick the each and every words in the document, we identified the stop list, then word stem. Okay, so word stem means you can see the origin words. So many words are created, they are created from some root words. Okay, so if some other variants of the root words is coming, so we'll convert those words with one stem words. So a group of different words may share the same word stem. Okay, reducing words to their root form is stemming. Okay, so reducing those words to their root form is nothing but the stemming. This is called the stemming, and those words are called the stems. So here a text retrieval system needs to identify group of words where the words in the groups are small syntactic variants of one another and collect only the sum of word system per group. So you can see here this one with one example you can see here. So this is one word drug. So next the variant of this one is drugged and drugs. Okay, so it shares a common word that is the stem or root word, that is the drug. So this is the root word. So in place of these we'll keep this stem word. Okay, we can have drug, we can have a drugged, drugging, okay, so drugs. So these are the different words that will be. So in those occurrences we will keep only this one stem means the root word, and can be used as a different occurrences of the same word, so they are coming again and again. Okay, so today we are ending here only. So in the next class we'll repeat this tokenization part once again, and we will go into some conceptual and conceptual and other methodology of text minings that we use for retrieval of the information from the textual data. We will cover that. Okay, so